So I'll get started with supported and non-supported. So here, let's say like sometimes few people always say like with a complaint that no, like nobody supported me, right? Let's say like it can be house, it can be in the office, right? So if you go to office, like there is always right, there is agreement, disagreement, right? So you may come up with some presentation or something, or your work doing some work. So some people say yes, you did a great job, and some people may tell the truth that no, like okay, this may be better, but like this may you can do it in a different way. So people can take in whichever the way. Like sometimes they may take offensive also. So you see this all the time. So same thing at house also, right? It's not necessarily that no, like everyone is going to agree with you, right? So like some people agree, some people disagree. Same thing goes with the friends. So this concept of two tablets here, supported and non-supported, the whole idea is first we need to start with a fresh mind, fresh thinking. If you see somebody is not supported, then first we have to remove that negative thoughts and trust yourself, right? So that's where you need to begin here. So always you see like some executives. So they say like they don't have time to do the meditation. So here, since we are doing this through meditation, so always meditation helps to get more people supporting. So at least you have to start believing and then start doing that to get there. So like you have different people, right? Executives, they say no time, and some people like like physically or mentally they're not fit, so you can't expect them, right? So they have maybe so psychiatric issues or whatever, right? And some people, they always say I have no time, or I don't have an opportunity to do that. But there's always, there will be, but they start with like that, right? So some societies you see, like whereas family itself, they restrict them in the sense like, so they say that no, okay, meditation is, like for Hindus, right? And then I'm not sure whether I can mention the like like some other religion here, but some other religions they think that no, this is for Hindus, so no, we shouldn't do something like that. So they may have some misbelief there, right? So
Actually,
again, like,
Hinduism is not a religion.
oh, okay,
It is not a religion. It is actually a way of life.
way of life. Oh, excellent. Thanks. I need to know that. So some say some people they oppose. So that's the thing. So like a newborn baby, so they may not know, right? So what to do here, and so some are like always weak-minded. Sorry, I have a double listing. So the weak-minded, so they wait for arrival of the opportunity. So here, if you go little further on the supported, non-supported, so there are like let's say like psychiatric patients or bedridden people or like like children case we just mentioned, right? So to deal with them in terms of bringing them to a right status, right state, so like like they're physically and mentally fine, but they need some support. So we should focus on those members. So who is going to spend time? So there's the key here, right? Maybe family members has to help them, and maybe daily, they have to support them by giving some like meditation here. So few people need to follow, like let's maybe like some traffic signals and deviating traffic here, but that should also help. So here, like individuality is very important here. So we should help them to improve their individuality. So by encouraging the follow spiritual path. So like here, like different people has a different opinion here, but to bring this non-supported into a supported state, including individuals, right? So so these two tablets, the highlight point here is like no like so follow spiritual path by doing at least 5 to 15 minutes per day. So do the meditation, follow the spiritual path is what the highlight of this one. So slowly, like like the positive ways will come. So whoever they think, either office or home or this one or like bedridden people, whoever, right? So it slowly helps. So that's what the highlight point here. Like, and then, so the point here is like, like continuously perseverance and self experience. So keep doing, keep doing, keep doing, and eventually you're going to see the results. So the strong minded create opportunities. So the solution is strong minded. You got to be thinking that you have to believe yourself and keep doing. It can be for like for your family member, or for yourself, at home, or whatever, right? And then keep meditating. So increase the time, increase the number of times you do, and slowly you see that no, like you believe, you think that everyone is supporting me. So that's the high level about supported, non-supported. If you guys want me to stop here for a minute before I jump into the next one.
So when does this supported, non-supported, what is the significance of this for a counselor?
Uh, Sir, so here, so like this is a common issue, right? So like anybody can come say that no, like so like no one is listening to me, or like let's say like no, in office, like no one is supporting me. So I always have some challenges here and there. So for them, the thing here is like no, like how to get the support. So here, the advice I believe here is like no, like meditation, right? So slowly, like no, like for them to believe themselves that like they have to start doing the meditation. So my advice here is like no, like they have to start doing the meditation. Number one, trust yourself that you are doing good job, right? Number two, think that everybody is supporting you. So daily basis, if you start doing this, and it may not happen overnight, but like in the course of a month, 40 days, mandalam, right? So 15 minutes, start with that. So and then once he starts doing, and then slowly, like his thoughts will become reality over the time. So that, so and slowly, like he can see that like one person at a time, maybe at home or in the office or wherever, right? So slowly, like number one, his mind will become strong, that yes, I'm achieving, I can do. So people are supporting me. That's what the direction I can say.
You can also add a little bit more.
Sure, sir.
Supported and non-supported, for that matter, all the two tablets are two sides of a coin.
Correct.
Where you have support, you will
Mhm.
also have lack of support, right? And since this is an attitude, and we are expected to take cognizance of different kinds of attitudes in life, right? This brings to the fact that you need to be aware. When you start with something, there is going to be opposition. There is going to be resistance. You are supposed to, like a warrior, right? Like a
Mhm.
warrior, stay steadfast on your path. Whether you are supported or not, the non-support will eventually become supported as long as you are proceeding on the right path. So this is a characteristic that is very necessary when you want to heal yourself, when you want to overcome a challenge, when you want to achieve something. So be aware that you are going to have two kinds of scenarios, and either of them can be obstacles. You're going in the wrong direction, being supported also could have its own challenges. That itself could be taking you in the wrong direction. You need to be aware at all times. You should be able to gauge whether you are aligned to your goal. Here the goal is your purpose. It could be purpose of life, purpose of an action, and so on and so forth. So the significance of supported and non-supported is the degree of consciousness, because you are dealing with a group of people who have got different levels of consciousness or awareness. Here, awareness meaning their own level of understanding and their level of ignorance, both. So, taking cognizance is the significance of this, and your effort sums it all in the last, which is perseverance is what is important if you want an outcome that you are looking for. Okay,
Excellent.
let's proceed. Any
Thank you.
questions from others? This is just my, I thought I need to just put the perspectives in place. Any questions from anybody else? Yes, no questions. So let's proceed.
Thank you.
Yes, Vinuta ma'am, you have a question? No. Okay. Chalo. Next.
All right. The next slide, please. Harika madam.
Vinuta ma'am has got disconnected. Any
Oh.
chance? It appears so. I don't see her.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So this one is acute and chronic. So here again, right, this duality here. So what we need to address immediately, what, so that's acute, right? Acute means immediately we need to address. So we don't have time to think, plan, like all this, right? Whereas chronic, so it's going to be long term, long time, and then the solution can be we can think, and then you can see improving step by step. So here to give some example, let's say maybe like we're cutting vegetables and suddenly like our finger got cut. So here we don't have much time to see, okay, what happened here, right? So like a finger cut means like how did this happen? Like what knife you're using, what are you doing? So immediately we need to see how quickly we can come to like a solution. Maybe take to the hospital, or maybe do something, or maybe whatever we have to wrap it or something. So this is the acute situation where we need immediate solution for this. Same thing here. Let's say like you're going in a traffic and then you get into some accident there, right? So here it can be, let's say like no, it's not that no, like you are driving. So like today I was driving, I saw not one, like multiple accidents. So there's not much we can do there, right? So like so the here the difference between like the person doing meditation, the person who's not doing meditation here, the slightly what happens is like since I'm doing meditation from last maybe like a couple of years, I believe, right? I'm not an expert anyway. So we need to understand, we need to slow down. Okay, I know that it's going to get late to the office, but we need to see the positive side. Whereas positive side means so luckily nothing happened to me. Number two, I hope so whoever the accident happened, hopefully they're fine. So we need to think in a positive direction. So rather than like if you see like a few years back, so I used to get panic. Oh my God, I cannot go to the meeting, so I'm late. So I know. So rather than thinking about the situation, rather than thinking about the actually what happened to the person, so even still we are still selfish, but we think about our problem first, right? So we forget about the actual person who maybe like need medical help. Someone has to call 911. So we actually don't think. But after meditation, I see that like the situation, things are slowly changing. Thinking about others, right? So like what kind of situation is there? What kind of help they need? So rather than we always thinking we first, right? So here the thing here is like like how meditation help is more like insurance. So do you think you can avoid completely? Maybe not, I'm not sure. But it's like insurance where daily if you start doing meditation slowly, like well, eventually maybe it takes a month or a couple of months, maybe a year, a couple of years, whatever. So that slowly changes the way you are reacting to a situation. So like here accidents may happen. So I don't know whether we can avoid or not, but how can you handle the situation is going to be totally different. So that's what I found this one here. So all emergency conditions present as well as future are called as acute situation, like let's say like we have a snake bite or any accidents or like asthma attack or heart patients feel difficult to breathe, so breathlessness. So in all these situations, we may not avoid, but you got to be patient to deal with what to do, how to do. Basically, like no, we have to start thinking before we act. Sometimes we get panic and then do something, right? Because in this, especially for acute situations. So similarly for nose pin, like misplaced or stolen, so nose identify the things through smell. So therefore, nose ornament symbolize as you can deal with the emergency situation very well. So that's like no like nose pin experience. So it ends up in a positive manner. So here the situations, like I said, like we cannot avoid, but how definitely these meditators can see how to reduce the intensity of the issue. So, so like prevention, right? So like how to prevent, so something like that. So now if you are going to deal with objects in an emergency situation in future, then dream or experience of snake, scorpion, ambulance, accidents, these are all like coincidences. So now it is like I said, like no solution is kind of insurance here. So we pay premium. So like slowly how we are going to pay insurance, like no like premium will be paying. At some point it's going to help. Same thing like no we start doing meditation, meditate. Definitely at some point it's going to help us. So now acute, right? So if anybody met with like emergency, like so how we are helping and like so basically like problem management, decision making. So all these things like you're going to see the difference here. So it's like so like I said like either insurance or let's say like a coconut tree, right? So you're not going to see any benefit the moment you put the coconut tree. It's going to take forever, right? So maybe 10 years, I don't know. So it's going to take several years until you see an actual coconut. So, but eventually, like no, like it will pay off. So you can't expect same thing like in meditation. You're not going to expect results immediately. So it's going to be like no, like a long run. Slowly, it will help. So how aggressive like this aggressiveness or like the tumors, synapses, or like psychiatric problems, all these how to deal with them. These are all like will help. So like I mentioned here earlier, like any snake or scorpion. So the questions regarding emergency. So if so we face these kind of challenges sometimes again and again. It means that we have to learn according to overcome these challenges. We have to get the immediate benefit. So long-term benefits. So like we need to maybe we have to do more meditation here, right? So this like so like the situations acute like either snake issue or like a scorpions or centipedes or siren of ambulance. So like accidents of course. So like nose pin misplaced, stolen. So so these are the things like asthma, so heart attack. So all these things like we got to be thinking as like acute situation. So let's say, for example, chronic here. So this is like duration, right? So long duration. So
Harika, you said something?
maybe by mistake. Okay. So here, so for long duration, so presents it takes so everything is going to take time, right? So here, like now, like through experience, repetition. So you got to be comfortable. You should have comfortable time to implement, and then slowly things will happen. So to identify any situation, so like immediately maybe it's difficult. So let's say like you have tried up a wrong belief pulled over period of time. So so these things are all like let's say like any heart attack. Heart attack is not going to happen over time, right? It's not going to start and then tomorrow you're going to you're going to see like heart failure. So this is going to happen for a long time. I don't know, maybe years. Depends on what you eat, what kind of exercise you're doing, what kind of diet you're taking, and how you're taking care of your body. So it's like no, like it's a long-term solution. If you completely ignore, neglect, then this kind of chronic situations are going to come. That's going to come that can become into like no one time. So suddenly it can become like this kind of emergency. So acute situation. So we need to follow like all these things like carefully. But how the solution like learning new things. So sometimes like art or music or language or technology. So these are all the like solutions. Of course, meditation. So here ailments like thyroid disease, hypertension, skin issues. So like if you see some small disturbance in the like your social circle or sleeping disorder, so headaches, so back teeth. So there are several indications it's giving, right? So if you are facing many in real life, so you are getting many indications with those objects. So you have to start doing something, right? So let's say you're in a meditation session regularly conducting by some other person, and he got some work and asking if anyone else conduct, then then you got to jump on it and then start doing, start maybe conducting that session for him. I know it's like some example. Let's say I'm a scrum master, right? And or I didn't show up, then somebody has to jump in and just run the DSU, right? Something like that. There's some examples here, right? So let's say your neighbor, so something happened, then immediately you get a midnight call, then you have to jump on help. So like it can be any situations, right? So a good situation can be anything. So here so chronic we already discussed. So, so there are different either thyroid issue, hypertension, whatever, right? So here, so to sum up, like in acute situation, one can face variety of challenges, variety of issues, variety of emergencies. We gone through that. So the situations are part of life. So there is absolutely no way one can avoid, but this meditation always helps. So just like insurance, like I said. So like meditation, keep meditating, and then slowly, eventually, like you'll find a solution, and then you'll overcome. So the for chronic long-term situations, the solution is like music, learn new things. So art or technology. That's what the summary is. So I am done with acute and chronic, sir. So if anybody has any questions or anything.
Anyone who wants to add, what is the significance of acute and chronic in our life?
Sorry, sir.
Anybody
What
and
is
everybody is free to contribute.
so? What is your question, sir? What is the significance?
Of acute and chronic in life.
Sorry, did I lose Chandra sir voice?
Yeah, go ahead, Anuradha. People are entitled to unmute and start. Yeah.
Actually, this tablet will help us to balance our life.
Okay. So what does it signify?
That is what the significance is. Usually our lives are, when our lives are unbalanced, that's the when you come across all these situations, like health wise, emotional wise, whatever the issues we go in our day-to-day life. But to some extent, I don't say that this will help like completely, but to the certain point, so whatever is missing in your life, uh, that will bring some little bit of balance, but I don't say it's 100%, but there is a possibility to bring the balance.
Good. Yeah. Rupa, your input.
Um, um, question, sir, not input, sir, question. Supposing sometimes you're not able to recognize what is that acute situation that you're going through, or what is that acute situation you're facing. You could have an experience either through meditation or through a dream, like something like a scorpion or a snake. You could have the experience, but the experience is there and we are trying to evaluate why. Everything seems fine. How to pinpoint, or how to isolate that what is that acute condition that we are facing.
Okay. Right. I will give you the input. Let us see if there are any other comments.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste.
So acute is a situation of a temporary nature, but your reaction to it is very severe. And probably, at that time we are not able to identify our reaction, and we cannot recognize that by changing a perspective, you can have a different outlook at that acute situation. Whereas a chronic situation is something that you cannot do much other than accepting it. Okay, and maybe have a slower solution to come out of that. Okay, like the master said, like about a heart attack, sorry, recovering from heart attack, having a problem, these are all the things where you do not have an immediate solution, but you can have a slow solution. You do meditate, you change your perspective, adapt to the situation, and slowly accept and work towards a solution. That is a chronic situation. That is the message I received.
Fine. So now, acute and chronic are two sides of a situation, a circumstance, be it health, be it social, be it financial. Right? This signifies and tests your preparedness on one side, right? It cautions you that if you ignore something, it could have a long-term impact. That means chronic, particularly in terms of overlooking some of those things, right? Now, the object science is a trigger, but an object science in many cases by itself is not information enough to take a call. Rupa, this is answering your question.
Yes, sir.
You have to reference this trigger to a context. Look into the various situations that you are in and gauge your preparedness. That is the objective behind acute and chronic. The second side of it is that, as Gopi was explaining, you plant a coconut or you plant a bamboo shoot, a bamboo sapling. Right? It may take even 5 years for it to come out of the ground. And then within a very short span, it might become huge, right? Suppose it were, let us say, an infection in the body. How does the infection start in the body? Anybody? You would have gone through this in real life.
Yeah, a cut, ignored
Maybe
situation.
a cut, maybe a small swelling or a rash, right? In my case, on my big toe, right, there was a small injury. I gave it no significance, and ultimately it became life-threatening. That means it became a chronic one, led to an emergency, and they had to remove the toe. Okay, so we go through. Had I probably taken the right action when it was a very small cut, I would have prevented it becoming a major catastrophe in terms of losing a toe. It led to re-amputation, as they call it, right? So our preparedness, and when you take insurance as a concept, why do you insure? Why do you need insurance?
Risk mitigation.
It is a sort
Safety
of test
purpose.
mechanism. It is safety. It is what do you call preparedness, and so on and so forth. So the significance of acute and chronic is taking cognizance of our preparedness for any kind of a situation. When this is to be reviewed every time we are encountering a situation in life. Okay? Are you all with me? So this tablet asks us to check our preparedness, particularly in terms of the path that we are taking. Okay. Now, whether it is meditation, whether it is affirmation, and so on and so forth, is the corrective measure. This, you need to take the cognizance that if something has happened and you do not take the long-term impact of that into cognizance, you are going to create unnecessarily avoidable situations for yourself. Yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, let's proceed.
Okay. So can I go ahead with the next one, sir?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So next one is on screen, off screen. Thank you, Harikana. So here, on screen, off screen, as the title says. Let's say, for example, on screen, right? On screen, the way how you see the personality, right? So let's say, for example, to give an example here. So sometimes each city is different, state level different, country level different, rules may be different. So like everything, let's say US, you may be driving right side, in India you may be driving left side. The rules, like languages. So you're going to see different things. On screen is something which is known and applicable to everyone, right? It's a common truth. So all the moral values come under this category. So all people, right? So infant, soul, baby soul, knows the essentiality. So implement this common truth. So for a externally representing group, let's say like a social community, so there are certain set of health related, neatness related, and respect related rules will be there. So which are collectively known as common truth. Example, so maintaining silence. So if like you are going to the school, so you should know how to maintain, right? You can't be shouting there, So just like let's say like we're going to a hospital, so anywhere, right? So these common truths are everywhere. So there are common principles according to common existence. So like let's say like if you're like in a factory, if you're in an office, if you're in a village, if you're in a city, if you're a country, so each level has its own set of rules, right? So office maybe like office things, then so you got to maintain those. So whatever is like everything is on screen there, you need to maintain that. So here, so basically what the highlight of on screen is there is no privacy here. So on the screen truths, so no restrictions for nobody. These are known to all. So like everybody knows what to do at school. It's not like the rule is going to change for somebody else. So here there's no off screens. Everything is on screen and everything, there's no privacy. It's clear, right? So on the screen truths are for the growth of the community as a whole, right? So certain types of rules, regulations, and belief systems are framed according to type of the soul level, which helps in joyful living and growth of the community. So for entire community, it's like open secret. So like it's everyone has to follow certain rules and that's it. There's nothing hidden here, right? So no life phase exists for these rules. So everybody knows there is a rule which has to be followed and that's it. So there is no midpoint. It's just a matter of whether the rule is followed or not. So you have to follow. If you're not following, then there's a different story. So here on screen is straightforward. So you see the personality there. So we can go into some more examples later. But let me go into off screen. So here behind the screen is something which is not common for all. So there is a privacy issue. So it is not for a whole population. So the rules, lessons change with the person, with the place, with the time. So there are particular off the screen rules for a particular person in a particular situation and time. So like things will change when it comes to off screen. So even though it's related to so many people and so many levels, it's called absolute truth, so which doesn't change with time. So our core principles. To protect these core principles, sometimes some small lies are needed, which comes under the off-screen rules. So there is no harm in using small lie behind the screen truth because ultimate aim is to expand the consciousness of a particular person or to make him understand absolute truth. So here, nothing is right or wrong while applying these lessons. So we have to decide what is the right way to explain a particular truth to a particular person based on the situations. So the multiple examples here. Let's say sometimes we feel that we can't digest a particular truth and we feel it's wrong. So this indicates that we are at wrong place. So we are not supposed to be there. Or so let's say like the truth sometimes changes according to level of a person. So for example, so we all know that sun rises in east and sun sets in the west. So we all agree. But again, depends on the person. Sometimes if the person is smart, then we need to think it level two here. So now let's say like no. Sun is always stationary, only earth rotates around. So now again, if you think little deeper, then we may have different answer here, right? So here, the sun, moon, earth, and other planets are revolving all in a big circle. It's all, like depends on the person, depends on the situation. So you can say like, yeah, this is true, or that is true, and this is true. So like it's all depends, right? With whom you're talking. So again, so let's say like, let's take at the country level. So to protect a country, or protect the office, or to protect the business, so sometimes we may have to bring our off-screen rules, right? So situation like let's say like no, you are in a military person somewhere. You know the secret of where like your all the weapons or like whatever the secrets for the country but let's say like no like some other country like no like so you got so you went to a different country, so you cannot tell even though you know the truth, but to protect your own country, so you cannot. So this here you have to play off screen rules. So just to protect, it's not for your individual gain, but it's to protect the country. So it's like no like it's effective, you need to see. So here the percentage way, right? So sometimes, like this, like I'm not sure, so I can correct here, like so 70% on the screen, 30% off the screen. So rules should be applied. So it depends on the situation again. So we cannot say always like one rule is a rule, right? So it may change. So off screen, on screen comes, the duality comes again here, right? So physical reality is on the screen. So truth and astral worlds, so past life karma, etc., are the off screen. And I got some from I think Lakshmi Madam's where she was mentioning about Kurukshetra. So how Aswathama killing was they're telling like what Dronacharya's son and the elephant name they were saying. So like no Ashwatthama, right? So here the elephant name is also Aswathama. So like they said they lied there to protect because like they want to continue the war because if if in Kurukshetra, if so, so to maintain the war in the same intensity for Dronacharya, so they have to tell this lie. Otherwise, so you may lose, right? So again, like so here off screen, on screen, like it's debatable. So let's say, for example, like here, so with GK sir or Sundar sir, we'll be dealing with patient guards in the future. So and if you met the patient guard somewhere and in a function somewhere, we cannot discuss that he's my patient guard, right? So that may be his privacy. So we're going to behave like just friends or something like that. So that like it's all like depends on what is comfortable, what we agreed upon, right? So that's like, no, like again, like if you see like some person, so the moment if you see some people, let's say like, no, like either Amresh Puri or somebody or Ravanasura, so you always okay decide, okay, oh, I know this guy, okay, this is what it is. So he's a bad guy. So you already comes to conclusion that in movies he plays as a villain on the Ravanasura, but we don't know what story behind, right? He may be good, he may not be good, we don't know. So like, so always, like this off screen, on screen, but what we know and what we don't know. So it's all like every person depends on the situation. We may have to play multiple roles here. That's all I have.
Any questions, comments? So then I have a question. What is the key focus area for on-screen, off-screen as a strategy? Anybody? When do you use on-screen? When do you use off-screen? And why is it important?
So I think I can answer that question, sir. At least I'll express my answer.
Go ahead.
So the answer to your question, I think it is dealing with the human hypocrisies and why we live our lives by leading a hypocritic life, but we don't recognize where is the line we are drawing between how we expect others to behave and how we are behaving. Okay, the on-screen and off-screen concept, once it is clear, you exactly know what is the purpose of your otherwise behavior. Okay, like in the sense like, okay, if you are going to teach your children a small lie to make sure that they study well and then work hard, whatever, right? But you for yourself why you are telling a small lie, like the country example, it's given. Right? These are all the things like that's where the on-screen and off-screen comes into the picture to bring a clarity into your thoughts. Thank you.
I would probably add one more thing. This on-screen and off-screen is an approach which we deploy when we are communicating. Okay. When we are communicating, it is important to take into cognizance the situation and the impact of a particular communication. Yeah. One of the guiding principles would be respect for an individual. Respect for an individual. If the impact is going to be disastrous, then probably you will choose the opportune moment wherein only those who are concerned with a particular communication are present. So it has got to do with presence of mind aligned with the impact of that particular communication or event or action and so on. That is where on-screen and off-screen matter a lot. Yeah. So we have another 9 minutes for today. So how much